Hi, it's Brad Hunter from Settle Now Online. I just want to go over with you a sample mediation agreement. It's this type of mediation agreement that will be signed in every case. There will be changes in the terms from time to time. So this is a quick overview of the agreement. Now, it is between each of the parties. Kim and Lee are fictional people, and myself as a family mediator. It has general terms in the first few paragraphs that set out things such as the mediator is impartial, so I'm not acting for either one of you, and that I will not be giving you advice, that it's to be a private mediation, and that you're to do so voluntarily. Generally, you won't be attending with your lawyers, but you can if you wish. And there's some other provisions about disclosure of information in those first few clauses. The second page starts with Section 9 of the Divorce Act, which sets forth if children are involved, that each of you has to place the children as your first priority. And it sets forth various things that you are to exercise decision-making responsibility consistent with your kids' best interests. You're to keep them out of conflict. You're to try to settle cases. You're to provide update information, and that you're to comply with anything you agree to. Section 10 deals with confidentiality. There's two forms of confidentiality in a mediation agreement. The first is that anything that is said or anything that I might prepare by way of a summary or the like in the mediation process cannot be used in court for any reason unless perhaps a final agreement is reached. And the purpose behind this is to ensure that both of you will feel free to talk and to give information, make offers, and the like. The second part of the confidentiality is that it's just between you and your spouse. Now, that doesn't mean others can't be involved. For example, you can bring your lawyer to the mediation. The only requirement is that you give notice that that will happen. You may need to involve other professionals or family members for advice and the like. But as a general rule, this is to be kept confidential between you and your spouse. And we talk a bit about that you're to make certain disclosures. For example, although will not make disclosure to any third party, there are some exceptions to that. For example, I may communicate with your lawyers, or if agreed with a third party neutral professional. If there was an issue such as abuse of a child came forward, I would be obligated to report that. But generally, nothing will be given by me except with your approval to a third party. Section 15, that the sessions are without prejudice. This means that they can't be used in court, as we said earlier. And it gives a pretty particular definition. So there's a screening process involved in mediation. Before our first mediation session, I will speak with each of you individually for two purposes. One, to determine whether mediation is appropriate, and secondly, to tailor the mediation to your needs. Paragraph 21, the mediation may be in person or by Zoom. Sometimes we will do shuttle diplomacy for mediation, or it'll be a hybrid of both. 22, there's something called caucusing. That means I may speak with each of you individually at different times. Paragraph 26, I do not provide any legal advice. I can provide you in paragraph 27 with legal information. We may end up drawing an agreement during the course of the process or at the end of the process, either in full or part. It will not be a valid contract for the purpose of the Family Property Act unless you get independent legal advice. If you're going to proceed to an agreement without independent legal advice, it may not be binding. Paragraph 30, there must be financial disclosure made. Failure to make financial disclosure may result, even if you get to an agreement, that agreement is invalid. Both of you have an obligation to provide all necessary information. This includes tax returns, financial statements of businesses, RSP statements, bank statements, you name it. Any document that might be relevant needs to be produced. 33, you can both terminate mediation, and paragraph 34 and 35 deal with my payment, and I will often work with a certified divorce financial analyst who will be paid as part of this process. We all sign it, and at the end of the agreement, there's some protocols if we're doing this online to just make sure that's an effective process. I hope you find this useful and interesting, and I trust that we will be able to help you. So we will talk to you at some point. I hope this is useful.